Okay guys, welcome back to BS2PCG Deck Forger. For today, we're going to discuss another deck, and this time around, we have decided to borrow a deck from one of our champions here in the Philippines, and this is none other than the deadly DutchFitz Engine. Okay, so I'll try to get that right. Okay, that is the DutchFitz Engine, and this is actually version 4 of the original deck, okay, that won around 2 years ago in the VS2PCG Grand Prix, and it was designed by Alexadan, okay, together with some of his friends, and this is centered on one of probably the most powerful main character in the Praise team, okay, in the Predator battle set, and he's none other than I am Dutch. Okay, so let's try to open this up and see what Dutch can do. Okay, so this is now your main character. So I really like this particular MC, and actually I had one signed by Mr. Ben Chikowski and Danny Mandel. They are actually the creators of the BS system to BCG. Okay, so let's try to look at what Dutch can do. So Dutch at level 1 is a 2 attack 4 defense main character from the Praise team. Actually, they are the adversary of the Predators, and he has 6 health and he has range. So his first superpower is my men are not expendable. So during the main phase, okay, you pay a red power symbol, and enemy characters can make team attacks on their next turn. So this is a very powerful superpower since it will try to prevent your opponents from making team attacks, most especially if they come up with you with weenie supporting characters. And this is also very important because, okay, his level up power is called he's killing us one at a time. So he only needs 3 XP to level up, and when an enemy character makes a solo attack, Dutch gains an XP. So that's how his first superpower works so well with his level up powers. And when he reaches 3 XP, he now becomes level 2. So Dutch, okay, at level 2 with a different illustration. This is the one showing him already covered up in mud, in contrast to his first illustration wherein he's still in his commando getup together with all the rifles and everything. So at level 2, he now becomes a 6 attack, 7 defense, okay, with 6 health, but sadly he loses his range. Probably because the Predator has already destroyed most of his weapons. And he still retains his my men are not expendable, but this time he gains a second superpower, and it's called Come On, Do It Now. Okay, I'll try to get that right, okay? Come on, do it now. Okay, so with Come On, Do It Now, okay, during any combat where Dutch is in, you can pay a yellow power symbol to put 2 -1/-1 counters on an enemy attacker. But then, it has a second mode wherein if you get to amplify that yellow power symbol, or meaning you get to pitch a location from your hand, you get to KO, okay, their attacker instead. So that attacker, meaning it can be a supporting character, it can be a token character, or it can even be, okay, the main character. And have watched several tournaments here in the Philippines wherein Dutch was able to, poison an enemy, okay, an opponent, wherein he was able, they were fooled into attacking him directly, knowingly that let's say the player only has 1 card in his hand, and to their surprise, it was indeed a power symbol, or it can be an Anna or an Academy or Los Angeles, wherein they get, okay, their main main characters, okay, KO'd, okay, right away, and that spelled, okay, victory for the Dutch player. So he's a very powerful main character, and probably my favorites among my favorites. And okay, so but he all works so well because in the particular deck, he synergizes with most of the other supporting characters that are backing him up. Okay, so let's try to place him here, and let's try to look at his supporting cast. Okay, so for your one drop, you have 4 copies of Anna, and she is a 1 cost prey character with 0 attack and 4 defense and 1 health. Actually, in this particular deck, we don't usually see Anna being played, and that's because she's much more deadlier when, okay, she's in your hands because of her first keyword power, which is Bond with Dutch. So with Bond with Dutch, you may discard Anna to generate a power symbol for one of your Dutch superpower. So when, okay, for example, you have Anna in hand, and okay, you want to play, you want to activate My Men Are Not Expendable, or let's say, come on, do it now. Okay, you get to pitch Anna from your hand, and she can be used to, okay, for amplification of Dutch's superpower. And she is very powerful because, okay, that literally gives you not 8 but 12, okay, possible means to power up Dutch's superpower. So Anna is very stable in this deck, and normally you get to hold her in your hand and not play her instead. Okay, for version 4, okay, we have removed the original Shield agents or Agent of Shield 1-drop characters in favor of, okay, putting 4 copies of Iceman. And as I think Iceman is the most utilized, okay, 1-drop in the game. So Iceman is a 1-cost X-Men supporting character with 2 attack and 1 defense, and with 1 health and range. And of course, he has freeze. So when he appears, exhausts a character and it can't ready during its next turn. So this is also good, especially if you're up against several very aggressive, okay, opponent characters, and they are many, and you're not able to, let's say, be able to activate My Men Are Not Expendable. So that at least if there are 2 characters available on your opponent's board, then you can get to piece 1, and the other remaining character will now be forced to attack solo, thus helping you earn or net, okay, an XP for Dutch. Now for our second, for our 2 drops, we have our first set, okay, of 2 cost characters, and they are DutchFitz, and that is why this is called the DutchFitz Engine, because literally the deck works between the interaction of Dutch and Fitz. So Fitz here is to make sure that you're able to ramp your characters or your supporting characters 2 turns ahead of your opponent. So Fitzsimmons is a shield character, okay, at 2 costs with 2 attack and 2 defense and with 2 health, and they have several keyword and superpowers, and of course they have 2 instances of agent. So meaning when you get to play them, okay, you put them in play, then you get to scry the top card of your deck twice and put some of them, okay, at the bottom of your deck, or okay, put or make them remain on the top. Okay, then Fitzsimmons is joined at the hip. So meaning when Fitzsimmons gets wounded, they lose 1 agent, okay, and an enemy player chooses them, okay, to lose either Bioengineer or Gadgeteer until they get healed. So with Bioengineer, okay, what we have here, so during the build phase, you pay 1 yellow power symbol and you pay 2 less to recruit your next character this turn. So this is what makes you rank 2 turns ahead of your opponent. So let's say you are on the 6th turn and you pay, okay, 1 yellow power symbol for Bioengineer, and that makes enables you to play a drop 8 Gilgamesh on the 6th turn. So that's 2 turns ahead of your opponent. On the other hand, if you have equipment on your hands, okay, you can also use Gadgeteer. So Gadgeteer is during the build phase, you can pay a red power symbol this time, and you may pay you pay 2 less to play your next equipment this turn. So definitely, if you, example, if you have a nullifier, then you can pay 2 less, and that makes nullifier free to be attached to one of your characters. So Fitzsimmons is very essential here, and normally they are protected because they are the ones that will make you, okay, ahead of your opponents when it comes to, okay, putting up cards on the board. Okay, so very powerful, very powerful. Okay, so Fitzsimmons is also one of the staple cards in the deck. And also we have 3 copies of Miss Marvel, and this is the Miss Marvel from the Champions team. And Miss Marvel has, okay, 3 attack, 3 defense with 2 health. Okay, and she has size alteration. So I think I have explained this in the previous video. So while Miss Marvel is in combat, you may discard the supporting character as though it were in any combat plot twist. If you do, her base attack and defense become equal to that character's for this combat. So since the DutchFitz Engine deck is packed with so many 8 drops, okay, and 9 drops, and even a 12 drop character, okay, well, once you get them early in the game, you can use them to pitch, okay, to power up Miss Marvel so that you can make her grow in size. Okay. And lest we forget, we have 1 copy of the nullifier, and the nullifier is a one-of-a-kind equipment, so it's ultimate nullification. So when the nullifier appears, okay, name a keyword or superpower, and enemy characters lose and can't gain that power until the nullifier display. So again, I think we all know how the nullifier is very essential once you get it in your hand, in order for you to be able to use them against threats like, of course, Dark Phoenix, or even some of the other more powerful, okay, main characters in the game. Okay, going to our 3 drops, we have 4 copies of Jessica Jones. And Jessica Jones here is a 3 drop, 4, okay, attack, 3 defense, supporting character from the Defenders, and she has 3 health. And she's essentially here to help protect your back row characters, most especially your Dutch, your Dutch, and your Fitzsimmons. She has flight, so she can protect even against from flying attackers. And she has stop, so when Jessica gets stunned, you may recover her. She still gains a wound, but then again, she still provides a wall for your back row defenders. And it's also very important because she has psionic protection, so any players can't use yellow base superpowers. So this is very important to go up against, let's say, the likes of Kingpin, or maybe even the level up condition for Silver Surfer. At least you can help prevent, okay, them from leveling up, okay, early in the game, because you have Jessica Jones in play. This particular deck this time has no 4 drops, so we go straight to our 5 cost character. And for this, we have 2 copies of Cable, and we have opted Cable much better than Gambit from the previous version 3 of the deck, because at least Gambit lets you discard a card while paying a red power symbol. But for Cable, okay, he can bring down a totally huge opponent just by using 1 red power symbol, and Cable is a 2 attack, 7 defense X-Men supporting character with 1 health and range. And he's very important in this deck to help you get rid of those very big defenders, using his ultimate soldier. So ultimate soldier is combat. During combat, you pay 1 red power symbol, and at the end of this combat, stun each enemy character that survives the combat. So if you're going up against a blocker like Gilgamesh or Ping Pong Boom or even Captain Universe, Cable can bring him down. Let's put him here. And we have 2 copies of the 6-drop Iron Man. And Iron Man is here, of course, for you to be able to flip back those helicarriers and those red locations, or even some yellow locations that you were forced to put in play, because of his inventive keyword power. So Iron Man is an Avengers with 5 attack and 7 defense and 1 health. He has both flight and range, so again, he's a good blocker, to help protect your back row defenders. And he has inventive, so when he appears, you may turn one of your face down locations face up. So normally used to pay for those use up power locations, power symbol locations. And since we are running Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan version in this deck, much better to use 2 copies of Shikla so that we are able to recycle those pitch supporting characters that you were able to throw in on her. So Shikla is an underworld 7 cost supporting character with 7 attack and 7 defense and 2 health. She's immortal, so when Shikla gets KO'd, you may shuffle her into your deck. And she has Eternal Beast, so at the start of your build phase, you may put a character from your KO pile into your hand. So if you're able to pitch, let's say, a Galactus from your hand, using him for your Miss Marvel, then at least on the 7th turn or maybe on the 5th turn, if you're able to use Fitzsimmons, now you will get to bring back Galactus. So if he's ready, then you can tap him later on the 10th or 9th turn. And speaking of Galactus, we have one of his heralds as part of the deck. And this is Morg the Executioner. So Morg the Executioner is an 8-drop, 10 attack, 8 defense, frightful supporting character. He has flight and range, so again, he's an excellent blocker. And at the same time, he has 2 health. So he's the herald, ordeal. So when Morg appears, you may get to stun an enemy Herald of Galactus supporting character. So if you're up against a Herald's deck or a Fantastic deck, then at least you have means for you to stun one of their Herald supporting character on the side, and that is again 1 character advantage on your part. And he is a Herald of Galactus, so you may now pay 1 less to recruit Galactus supporting characters. And he's also an Executioner. So during combat, you may pay 1 red power symbol. If Morg is melee attacking an exhausted defender, he has ferocious and strikes with triple his attack this combat. So with this guy at 10 attack, it can triple down up to 30 attack and can bring down even a Captain Universe and a Galactus, all while surviving the combat. So he's here also because we need to play Galactus later on. And going further, we have 2 copies of Gilgamesh, very staple if you have a late game deck. And Gilgamesh is an 8-drop Eternal Avengers at 16 attack and 16 defense with 1 health and flight. So again, Eternal, if Gilgamesh will replay, you may put him into his owner's hand instead. And since he's the forgotten one, at the end of your turn, if you do not say Gilgamesh's turn, he loses and he can't gain Eternal. So very good also for pitching for Miss Marvel. And we have 2 copies of Mr. M. And Mr. M is here to, of course, add an additional superpower turn use for your Dutch and other supporting characters, and also to help prevent some cards like Dark Phoenixes from entering the game with their deadly effect. So Mr. M is an Omega, and he has 15 attack and 10 defense with 1 health and range. So since he's an Omega level mutant, you can only put him as your Omega in your deck. So you can put other Omega level mutants with other names in your deck. And he has subatomic manipulation, so they have 2 effects. So one is choose a keyword, keyword or superpower, on an enemy character or on found on any character, and when they can gain that power this turn. At the same time, he also has power augmentation, so choose a character on your side, and they gain at least 2 effects. And Mr. M is very important here, of course, because he's sometimes your safeguard against very deadly higher effect characters like Dark Phoenixes and of course Galactus. And speaking of Dark Phoenix, you have 2 copies of Dark Phoenix in your deck. So it's a 9-drop Femcetal supporting character with 10 attack and 15 defense with 2 health. She has both flight and range. And again, her main keyword power is of course deconstruct the universe. So when you recruit Dark Phoenix, you may remove the following contents or concepts from the game. So you can either remove +1/+1 and -1/-1 counters, you can remove equipment, you can remove all keyword text, or you can bring down all main characters to level 1. You may also remove all plot twists from the game, and you may also remove all superpowers from the game. So it's very strategic here, but normally we use Dark Phoenix here to remove keyword powers in order for us to be able to utilize the next and the biggest dude on the block, and this is of course Galactus. So I think we all know Galactus by now. So Galactus is a 12-drop, 30 attack, 30 defense. So he's the biggest guy right now with 7 health and flight and range. And of course, Galactus is very important in this deck because he is your finisher. And besides that, you can't really put Galactus directly in play because you still need to have a Herald in your deck, or on your board before it can come out. But then again, that's why if you're able to remove keyword power, from using Dark Phoenix, at least Galactus will be able to come out easily. And if you're not able to do that, but you're able to play more, then at the same time, you can still utilize a very efficient keyword power of his, and that is the Monster of All Worlds. So at the start of your main phase, you name a location. If you do, remove each card with that name everywhere from the game. So to better delay your opponents, or even to paralyze him by removing most of his resource locations, one at a time. That is very effective in this deck, most especially for use with Miss Marvel, or if you're able to come out with him during the late game. But then again, you have to be careful against the likes of, let's say, Jean Grey Omega and even Serpent Crown. So that is why we have Mr. N to back him up once he's ready to come out. So I think that that's all our main cast for supporting characters. And now for our plot twists, we have a few of them, and we have 4 copies of Death Trap. And that trap is a very staple plot twist in this deck, most especially for any praise deck. And that trap, okay, during any combat, choose an attacker to get a -0, -4, okay, defense this combat. And you can play this card from your resource row. If you do, replace it with the top card of your deck face down. The good thing about that trap is they can act as both plot twist and as an efficient resource row, okay, card, wherein you can still get to use them. And normally the big surprise here is once they attack with a huge attacker, but with, let's say, 4 or less defense, then you are able to stop that attacker from attacking, because once he gets, okay, a -4 defense and his defense, okay, counts down to 0, then automatically that attacker becomes stunned. So very, very powerful plot twist coming from the praise, okay, and I think this is one of my favorite. And we also have 4 copies of Uncanny Defense. So Uncanny Defense is an X-Men staple, okay, defensive card, and use it this time in this version of the DutchFitz Engine because of we have of course Iceman, and we also have Cable. But feel free to add more X-Men if you think you still need to use them. And at least now, with Uncanny Defense, during any combat, remove a defender on your side from combat and replace it with a different character on your side. So switch their position. So this is the more added surprise to the DutchFitz Engine version 4. So this time, okay, once they get to attack, let's say one of your characters like Iceman, unknowingly you can use Uncanny Defense and switch the position of Iceman with your level 2 Dutch. And once you have, let's say, an Anna in your hand, you can pitch Anna, okay, to activate Duchess. Come on, do it now. And if it's the main character, then it is the end of the game. Okay, so it's a very powerful combo, and I really like this one. And Uncanny Defense goes here with 4 copies, so that you're able to use, okay, that card very efficiently with Dutch. Okay. And of course, going to our locations, we have around 16 locations in this deck. And we have 4 copies of the Sulaco or the red power location, red power symbol location. Okay, and mostly used also, of course, to pay for Duchess. My men are not expendable, and even for Fitzsimmons Gadgeteer, and also with Cable's Ultimate Soldier, and of course Mord's the Executioner. And mostly this red power symbol is used to help, okay, prevent your opponents from making those team attacks, so that Dutch can now, okay, get to level up very quickly. So normally on the 3rd or 4th turn. And we also have 4 copies of the Auriga, or from where we get our yellow power symbol. And of course, normally keep it in your hand, okay, so that you're able to pitch in to amplify Duchess. Come on, do it now. And maybe you can also use it for Fitzsimmons, most especially if you want to ramp 2 turns ahead, okay, and use, okay, the yellow power symbol for, okay, Fitzsimmons by Engineer. And we have 4 copies of Headquarters, which is the wild location for the praise team. And I think you know the gist, and you know where we're going to use this particular set of locations. And Headquarters is here because it provides at least 8 chances for you to draw and provide that amplification for Duchess. Okay. Come on, do it now. And finally, we have 4 copies of Helicarrier. And Helicarrier is here because it's very important for you to be able to utilize the ramp, okay, advantage of having Fitzsimmons activate, okay, thereby Engineer. So this is a very deadly deck. I've seen watch it, okay, go to the championship several times in the Philippines. I think around 5 or 6 times. And that's because of, and of course we'd like to thank our sponsors, Treats for Them. That's TREATS number 4 THEM. And you may download Treats for Them, the mobile solutions app, okay, the online shopping app at okay, the Google Play Store, or you can also visit our website at www.teachfordem.com. We'd also like to thank our other sponsors like New Skin Philippines, Usana, and of course Forge Hobby Place, and that is our official venue here in Manila. So Forge Hobby Place is located at Unit B, Velasquez Compound, Naga Road, Pulanlupa, 2, Las Piñas City. And for all the great guys at BS2PCG Collective, most especially from the guys at Build Face, courtesy of Mr. Joe Vitelli and Mr. Benjamin Brosin. So again guys, okay, this is another edition of BS2PCG Deck Forger. So hope to see you once again next week. Like us, follow us, and subscribe to us at our YouTube channel, and for us to be able to bring you more and more informative